Welcome, everybody, to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, and I'm happy to be here on a thriving Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday, and we're talking about solutions, ways that you can create solutions in your life so that it radiates out around the world and shows other people how they too can create solutions in their life. We love to talk to guests and amazing individuals around the globe who are doing interesting and unique things to ignite humanity, and it starts with them, and then it ripples out into the world and creates this wonderful ripple effect of igniting humanity and uplifting lives and really creating that ignite, that spark, that spirit inside of people. You know, folks, we really do need to be thinking about our attitude, our mental health, our personalities, the way we're stepping out into the world, because it reflects on others. And of course, their attitude reflects on us. And so there's this big mirror effect. And when you meet somebody and they're feeling low and down, it sort of also makes you feel the same way, just the same as when you show up happy and exhilarated. It also uplifts others. And so we're here today to really uplift you and share some great ideas and solutions on how you can ignite your life and ignite the lives of others. All right, well, let's get started by meeting our amazing guest, Sharon Rolfe, a behavioral specialist, scientist turned retirement essence coach after retiring in 2016, has made significant strides in guiding individuals through retirement. She produced 53 retirement podcasts and authored Fresh Courage in Retirement, Finding Purpose, Essence, and Fulfillment, aiding others in finding joy and productivity post-career. Transitioning from feeling invisible to becoming the Queen of Courage on Instagram, Sharon exemplifies the transformative power of embracing one's essence, inspiring many to lead fulfilling lives during retirement. Sharon's story is not just about overcoming invisibility or finding a new identity in retirement. It's a testament to the power of courage, purpose, and the endless possibilities that await when we dare to redefine our essence. All right, well, let's welcome her to the show. Welcome, my darling.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So happy to have you. Tell the folks where you're coming to us from.
I am north of Seattle, and yesterday it rained all day long. I swear. And wind, whew.
I used to live in Vancouver, so I know that part of the world has lots and lots of rain. So I feel you. I feel you. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Sometimes the weather can bring us down. Sometimes situations can bring us down. Sometimes even being around other people with low energy can bring us down. Do you have any ideas and solutions based on your skills and training on how we can lift ourselves up out of the doldrums?
Well, in fact, I was looking at something, getting ready for something next week online this morning, and they said taking a walk in the forest or at the water automatically lifts their spirit. There's something about being in nature. When I go on my walks daily, I love to take 4 biscuits with me and give them to whatever dogs I find out there. I'm a favorite of the dogs. And I tell people I get my kisses that way.
Yeah, it's so great. What a great way to meet other people and strike up a conversation. You know, now more than ever, people are kind of just sort of with their blinders on, not really connecting. I remember when my kids were little and I was walking down the path one day and I just said hello to somebody who walked by. And my son said, "Do you know that person?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Why'd you say hello?" And I said, "Because that's what you do. You just say hello to people." But we're losing that trait. So giving out dog biscuits, I'm sure, gets people fired up to have a conversation. Let's have the conversation about retirement. How can people still feel ignited even in that after their career?
Well, it's interesting. I usually have my business card here that when we don't have our title and our team and it's something to do to accomplish. I know when I first retired, it's like, how do I know that I'm productive or not? I was bouncing off the wall. And in my coaching class, the first thing they taught us was our essence statement. And I made a wall hanging of it. I've had it posted on my wall here, but somebody suggested I take it down, and I think I might put it back up. But I came over and read my essence statement 3 times one day, and I gradually realized when I'm living from my essence, I'm living from my core, my values, and what matters to me. And we often don't know what matters to us or be able to describe it. And I now realize after that every day felt productive because it's what matters to me.
Hmm. Is there a way that we can derive our essence statement? Is there a tool or a strategy on how we can do that at home?
I do have a process on doing that, and it's pretty new and pretty unusual. And yet, when I first after we described our wrote our essence, and then at the end of 2 days, we stood in a circle and read our essence to each other. And as it was coming towards me, I was going to be the next one. I thought nobody's ever asked me to describe my soul before. I was almost choked up before I even read it because it was such a powerful moment for me. And I had noticed others had kind of gotten choked up too. So mine is I am precious jewel of wisdom. I am
Mm.
colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I am tranquil, authentic, and pure inspirer. I light fires.
Wow. Well, of course we're attracted to each other. You light fires, I ignite people. I think that's amazing. Exactly. Tell me the power of many of those statements had that I am. How and that I feel like that's so important.
Yeah, but we use elements of like what you love to do, what your personal characteristics are, what makes up you, kind of your personality. We include values. So many people I am now picking up are starting to coach around values. And what are your aspirations or your guiding principles? I think my guiding principle, my mom says, where there's a will, there's a way. and and then what are some of your dreams and goals and wishes that flavor who you are? So once we um, describe all those things, and it takes a little while to, oh, who am I don't know who I am, but there is a deeper wisdom there when we take the time to reflect on how God made us, you know?
Mhm.
So then we wrap it up into a metaphor. And I used the metaphor when I was in Dallas, Texas. See, that would have been um, in the 90s, I guess. But I went to this Mayfair around the Cowboy Stadium on the first weekend in May. And way back in the corner was a geometry teacher turned jeweler. I love unique stuff, right? Do you?
I
And
love it. How
and
can you tell?
yeah. And I put he had what he called stackables. Richard uh, Robert Trisco from Minnesota. And I put those rings on and something moved in my gut. What just happened? And I got kind of chills all over me, you know, and recognizing that. I took them off and put them back on, and it happened again. I was bewildered. It's like, um, you know, kind of a unusual, intuitive moment. And I left, and a couple times I've used the jewel as a metaphor for what I bring to the world, the sparkle, the value, the color, the, you know, and so I use it again in my essence. And so the I am precious jewel and wisdom means so much to me.
That's beautiful. You know, colors are very powerful. I love the color pink, and I always use a lot of pink in my messaging. And I always, somebody actually, a very beautiful um, indigenous elder shared with me, gave me the name Pink Cloud, and I love the name Pink Cloud because I just love this idea of being able to just bring this desire and pink and frivolous and fun and gleeful and blissful and all of that. And so colors really do become a part of your essence. And I think a lot of people, and I notice when you ask them, what do you want, or what is important to you, or what do you value, or what would you do if you had all the money in the world, or where would you go if you had no limitations? People sometimes stop and stutter. They don't have the answer. And I just want to value your process because it's really important to have people dreaming and envisioning what they want for their future. Again, you work with people in retirement. So talk a little bit about that. Are people feeling like I'm kind of done now and I don't want to, I can't keep dreaming big?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was just even this week that said, and it seems like they were a coach. They said they had retired about a year ago, and they were surprised at how much confusion they felt in those first 6 months. That they didn't realize that not having your business card anymore, and the team that you work with, and like me, how do you know if you're productive? There's no boss that's telling you what you need to do. Yeah, I found a card, and you don't. I don't ever think I've heard it anybody saying, you know, you're the boss now. You know, you used to please the boss, and now you're the boss. Oh, I am. I have to structure my day. I have to plan my calendar as to when I'm going to go out and be social. I remember I was doing what do I want to do in a workshop up in Anacortes where I was born. And I saw a man sitting in his truck, and I thought, well, he may be both sad and happy. One, he was out of the house. Yay for him. He had his clothes on. But two, maybe that was his only way of sitting in his truck just watching people. Now, there could have been somebody in the store he's waiting on, but I imagine that might be his only social activity for the day is people watching from his car. And so I, of course, didn't know his story, but volunteering is a great way to get out of the house. And yet I'm going to do a workshop here with one of my good friends, and she has some, she's strong about it. She says, interview at least 20 nonprofits or foundations to volunteer for. And I thought 20 is a little extravagant, but the point is you need to be trained. And a lot of nonprofits don't train you. So you get maybe twisted out of shape because you're not happy and you're volunteering. And yet the AARP president from Washington State he was one of my podcast people, and he had 9 tips on the valuing retirement. I mean, volunteering, because you learn things, you're social, you're mixing with people. And he had like 4 things that he did on a regular basis. And he says, do different things. Like he was a hospice counselor or advisor or something. And he went out here to the University of Washington, and it was a wood plant specialist, whatever that means. But he was, and he found his dentist in some of the retirement volunteering that he was doing. And who knew that his dentist could speak 3 languages and was quite the bicyclist and all this. So you learn lots of things in retirement, volunteering, because you're out there, you're helping, you're meeting a need. And that's so good that people need you.
And I think, volunteering definitely ignites humanity for all of us. I have teenagers. I have a 19-year-old, and when he was looking between jobs, he's like, Mom, I'm doing lots of applications, and I'm looking, and nothing's coming in. I said, go volunteer, go do something, be of service, help others, put yourself in a situation where you can learn and be around, and you might meet somebody and interact with somebody, and that might lead to something else. So folks, volunteering is a fantastic way to ignite humanity. It's a way to give back, and you can volunteer your time, you can volunteer your experience, you can volunteer your talent. There's so many beautiful things. Being a parent and volunteering together with your kids is such a great thing. I actually took my kids out of school for a year, and we went traveling, and all we did was charity work and volunteer our time at 12 different charities in 11 different countries. And my kids learned so much by volunteering and being in those situations. It really was life-changing. It really opened up their eyes. Great solution for Thursday. What else you got for us? What other solutions can we bring forth in our retirement that helps us and helps ignite humanity?
The other thing that, let's see, the volunteering, I'm drawing a blank, but the helping each other. I actually volunteer at the food bank. Every Tuesday I deliver food for seniors that are indoors. They might have, one family had a blind son and a elderly father that she was taking care of. And in fact, the blind, not the blind son, well, there's one of those too, but he was hard. He couldn't hear. So he loved coming to the car and helping me take the groceries into his grandma because, and one day I pointed out that we both had red shirts on and he loved that. This big smile came on his face, kind of like when you say, well, hello, in the morning. So, one of the guests on my podcast was a lady that she recognized she needed to expand her heart. And she did like you, she did volunteering around the world for a year and I think a month in each country. And there's the being aware of what your heart is longing for. I've had 3 or 4 cases since Thanksgiving where I felt homesick. It was such an unusual thing because I'm in my home. My sister is my best friend and she's living in my dad's house, but the homesickness wasn't that. It's like it was a message about expanding my heart and loving the world more through what I am and what I can bring to the world. That's what your spark can do. Once you learn your essence or your spark, you automatically, your purpose kind of bubbles up automatically because you're that unique person that God made you to contribute to the world. And finding your purpose and spark is just it's so fulfilling and it's so satisfying and contentment. So often either here's a take heart. Be aware that you can get too busy in retirement with everybody else's stuff. Your kids come to my birthday party, come to my soccer game, come to my bar mitzvah or whatever. And are you really doing what your heart wants to do? Listening to your heart takes honoring yourself. It takes listening and it takes obeying, or else that voice stops talking to you. Maybe you, like on vacation. In fact, fresh courage comes from a Hallmark movie. When you go home from vacation, you often go home with fresh courage. And you're more, you listen better on vacation. I'm pointing to the water out here because people often go to the water on vacation. And when you're sitting on a rock and that little voice comes talking to you and I couldn't do that, what a dream. Yeah, what a dream. But if you honor it, you're honoring yourself and honoring your spirit. And good things happen when you respond to that still small voice.
It's so true. That is for all of us, that is how we ignite humanity, is just to truly be our true selves. And so often we are distracted by what's on social media or what the neighbors are doing or what our siblings are doing or what someone else is doing. And we think we want to be like them or we should do that and the thing is, I'm with you. God did not design me to do what someone else is doing. God did not put me on this earth to follow somebody else's footsteps. In fact, it's really, I feel like we each are here to walk our own unique and wonderful path, and that will help us find our fabulous essence. In that doing of that path, many of us butt up against that wonderful thing I call the ignite moment, that moment that changes everything and wakes us up. And you shared a little bit about that spark. Did you have an ignite moment that made you wanting to help other people in this way so important?
Well, what comes to mind is last spring, I read Vivek Murthy, our Surgeon General's book called Together. And he talks about all kinds of ways that we can feel lonely. And I kind of prided myself. I never dealt with feeling lonely, except he said feeling invisible is a form of loneliness. It is. I had felt invisible my whole career. And to recognize that maybe I was still invisible kind of was a wake up moment. And so I, uh, I stepped forward to help solve the loneliness problem and have been for 5 months now doing a loneliness to resilience membership community to talk about that loneliness. And it's slowly picking up, but I have a number of people that come every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time to talk about. In fact, what I was researching this morning was how to be effective in solving loneliness for next week's program.
Very interesting. I think a lot of people in humanity do feel a sense of being invisible. We're in busy cities and busy towns. We're going so much. In many ways, I just recently came back from New York, and at the airport, waiting to get on the plane, everyone has got their face down in their phone. No one is talking to each other. No one is visiting. The kids are looking at the iPads. The parents are looking at the phones. And I remember a time post phones, before we had phones, where when you went on a trip, you would meet the coolest people in the airport lounge. They were maybe getting on the same plane as you. You'd see them when you got to your destination. You'd exchange, phone numbers, and you connected and you really communicated with one another. And you didn't feel so lonely because people had their head up and they were looking, and people would engage with you and smile at you and open the door for you. And we're losing a lot of that. And I think it's so important what you've said is people don't want to feel invisible. In fact, we all want to feel like we belong. One of the most important human needs is a sense to feeling like we belong. And as being a part of humanity and knowing that you absolutely belong in your family, in your neighborhood, in your community, in your town, in your country, and a part of this global population, really makes you realize how important it is to interact with people. And I think that's a really important piece that you shared. Bravo. Nobody wants to feel invisible. So do you have some suggestions or some solutions on how we can go about feeling more like we're a part of our community?
Well, in fact, what comes to mind while you're talking is the word vulnerable. That what's fun though about looking in somebody else's eyes. Another thing was to start small and talk to somebody that you already know. I have a handout sheet someplace about how to get that ball rolling with meet somebody or connect with somebody that is already an outgoing person, and they can introduce you to other people that you might have something in connection with. Book clubs and book clubs and athletic teams are another good way to be in a group of people that you have something in common and a mutual interest. Yes.
Yeah, I so agree. Of course, as a publisher, I love to encourage people to be in book clubs. Going to theater is always a great thing. Libraries are wonderful. There's so many free things that happen at libraries and community centers that you can be a part of. And of course, if you go online, there's all kinds of meetups and Eventbrites and different Facebook groups and all kinds of events that are happening. And people want to invite you. And I always challenge people, pick one thing a week that you could go and do that isn't in your normal routine, that you can just branch out, meet new people, try a new skill, learn something different. It's always a great way to just expand your thinking. I'm sure you're telling retirees a lot that when you stop learning and when you stop growing and when you stop being a student of life, that's when you start to feel more loneliness. Any solutions about how people can always be that consummate student?
Well, in fact, I came home one day from having been gone over the weekend, and immediately came out here to water my plants, and the thought crossed my mind: if you're not growing, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
Those plants needed water to grow, and in retirement, learning is a very key thing to keep us vivacious and energized, because our brain, it helps. I think our brain is hungry for it. Anything. Oh, I was going to also mention on connecting with people is in fact meetups, and meetups could be libraries. I mean, book club. Yeah, book. And I know some people around here that do walking at 8 o'clock in the morning, so
there's also people that do walking in the mall when it's snowing outside. They'll go walk in the mall before the stores open, and maybe have a little social meeting there, and then they have coffee in the food court, and that's actually quite popular too.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. My mall is about 4 miles away, which isn't that far. But when I can walk through the trees, there's actually when I come back from vacation, I was seeing my eye doctor, and they said, I told them how I had been walking through a park out here that's just full of trees. And she says in Japan, they have a term for that. It's called forest time. And I've heard that, like the comment I read this morning, that there's some kind of healing process being in the forest. It's like
absolutely
hugging us. I don't know.
Yeah, the trees are so powerful. I totally agree. Well, you have so many great ideas, so many great solutions. We really appreciate you being on the show. You did share in the pre-show just how young you are. Do you want to tell everybody how amazing you are with all of this information? If you want to know more about Sharon, you can go to her website. Sharon is a blooming...
Yeah, my credit. In fact, I had on a dating site here, a guy actually asked me, he says, seriously, I want to know. So one of the first things is having peace in your heart. What made a big difference was refusing to live my life based on fear. I had just moved to Tampa, Florida, and I had 3 people I think I knew in Tampa. And I stopped my foot, and Joshua 1:6-9 says, be of courage, be of good courage, do not fear. And I soon adopted that, and it makes such a difference. Oh, I was on the Wild Fit diet too, where you drink a green smoothie every day. And that helped a lot. My skin started looking like baby skin. How amazing.
I've done Wild Fit also, and Eric Edmees is a very good friend of mine. He was also a forward writer in one of our books. And so I love Wild Fit. Little plug for Wild Fit. And Eric, well, we love you. And look at our beautiful skin. It's so true. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for being here. Big blessings to you, and take care. Well, folks, if you want to know more what we're doing at Ignite, please jump over to our website and check out all the fun that we're up to. If you'd like to be a part of our program and share your Ignite moment, how you're igniting humanity, the things that you're doing, some solutions, ideas, wake people up, inspire them, motivate them, and create connection, please join us for one of our powerful days. We're here Monday to Friday every day, 11 a.m. Mountain, 1 o'clock Eastern. We love talking to individuals. Please fill out our type form and tell us a little bit about you so we can have you on the show. Well, I hope you're having a great Thursday. Big blessings to you. Take care, and we shall see you tomorrow.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.